Hello and welcome to CBS News in Brief. My name is Yunis Dekow. Horn of Africa leaders of Ethiopia, Eritrea and Somalia have held talks in Eritrean capital Asmara on Monday morning. The summit focused to strengthen the shared interest of regional cooperation between Somalia, Eritrea and Ethiopia. The talks between the presidents of the Federal Republic of Somalia, Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo, President Isaiah Afwerki of Eritrea and Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia focused on key issues related to their respective countries and development in the Horn of Africa region. A Villa Somalia press statement said the three leaders will use the summit to review and evaluate the effectiveness of existing efforts and measures to boost transparency in the region, discuss strengthening regional stability geared towards countering terrorism, and address challenges surrounding regional cooperation and integration. The statement added that the Somali delegation will share with their Eritrean and Ethiopian counterparts in the summit on the commitment of the government and the people of Somalia, especially in strengthening governance and prosperity, share the gains made in the past while also emphasizing their vital role in the ambitious development process of the region. Relations between Ethiopia, Eritrea and Somalia have continued to grow after the Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed came to power in 2018. The Somali government has retaken full control of its airspace after foreign workers working with the government officially handed over their responsibilities to Somali nationals. Air traffic over the Horn of African nation had been controlled by the United Nations from neighboring Kenya since 1992, a year after the Somalia civil war broke out. Somalia has officially fully reclaimed its airspace control, having all foreign workers in the aviation ministry handing over their responsibilities to competent Somali nationals in the capital, Mogadishu. The team of Somali professionals will be working from a new fully equipped flight information center to control Somalia's airspace in Mogadishu's Aden Adda International Airport, which is largely protected by the Africa Union forces. The handing over ceremony was attended by government ministers, lawmakers, foreign diplomats, security chiefs and officials of the International Civil Aviation Organization. Valentine Kiomba, who headed the outgoing team, urged the Somali government to continue with the work they started. The Federal Minister for Transportation and Aviation, Mohamed Abdullahi Salad Omar, said the move came after ICAO, an NGO body under the United Nations, handed over the airspace control to Somalia. The minister appreciated the good work of the foreign workers and the ICAO organization, who he said worked tirelessly with the work in the Aviation Control Office until now that they have secured local educated staff. The United Nations Development Programme, UNDP and ICAO founded a civil aviation caretaker authority for Somalia following the collapse of government in 1991. Mogadishu today hosted an expo whose intention is to create an opportunity to invest in Somali youth-owned businesses for growth and creating jobs. The event was opened by Somalia's Prime Minister Hassan Ali Khaire and graced by the U.S. Ambassador to Somalia, Donald Yamamoto. The project's objective is to fund 340 young Somalis who have demonstrated successful business innovation. The Somali government is implementing the program funded by the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, with a US $1.6 million with participation from some of the country's business entities. U.S. Ambassador to Somalia Donald Yamamoto, while addressing the Somali Youth Investment Expo, announced that the U.S. will increase its support to Somalia, especially in education, employment and other key important sectors. The U.S. Ambassador to Somalia and the Somali Prime Minister announced a joint new effort to support young Somali entrepreneurs and innovators as they contribute to Somalia's stability and prosperity on their journey to self-reliance. This initiative contributes to the country's economic development, the growth of their family livelihoods, and the creation of employment opportunities, and a way to keep Somali youth away from crime and extremism. Youth benefiting from this program come from all regions of the country, and entrepreneurship initiatives include agriculture, fisheries, energy and technology. Somalia's Deputy Prime Minister Mahdi Mohamed Ghadar has arrived in Djibouti for a 3-day summit. The leaders of Djibouti government have accorded warm welcome to his delegation on their arrival at Djibouti International Airport. The delegation of the Deputy Prime Minister is part of a 35 government of African, Asian, Middle Eastern, Pacific, Latin American and Caribbean countries who will officially be represented at the third Forum BIE 2030 International Summit on Balanced and Inclusive Education in Djibouti on 27th and 29th January 2020. During the three-day event, the officials will affirm and sign into being the Universal Declaration of Balanced and Inclusive Education and affirm and sign into being platforms and mechanisms of technical and financial cooperation to support implementation of commitments made in the forum. The Assembly of Nationals of the Global South, taking leadership in reforming education, preparing societies and opportunities of sustainable development, embodies the aspirations shared by many in the international community. The Universal Declaration follows in the spirit of previous international agreement on education. It combines those ideas, links them with novel concepts, and situates them structure resting on four key pillars of balanced and inclusive education. The first forum of the BIE 2030 was held at the United Nations in Geneva, Switzerland in December 2017. And Somali Prime Minister Hassan Ali Khaire has held talks with Norwegian Ambassador to Somalia, Vebjørn Hees, in the capital Mogadishu. In a Twitter post, Prime Minister Hassan Ali Khaire thanked the government of Norway for its support to help Somali government rebuild the Horn of Africa nation. Twitter post by the Office of the Prime Minister read, and I quote, Hassan Ali Khaire had a good meeting with Ambassador Vebjørn Hees of Norway, Special Envoy to Somalia, whom he thanked for the consistent and enduring partnership we have had with Norway, which recently gave Somalia a bridge loan to help government's midterm financial obligations, end of quote. Last October, Norway announced to provide a $359 million a bridging loan to Somalia's 2020 to clear the debt owed to the World Bank's International Development Association, signalizing a major step towards the country's debt relief. Somalia's external debt amounts to approximately $4.7 billion, and the country has been struggling to clear this debt through the Heavily Indebted Poor Countries Initiative, which grants debt relief to heavily indebted countries under a stringent framework. That is all we have for you on this particular news brief. Thank you for being with us. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.